even though the Sabres would, surprise, surprise, get a goal from Jason Zucker late. They end their road trip by losing 3-1 to Vegas.
They got to extend that man immediately somehow. He's not going to. He's going to walk away. But I will say, he seems like, first of all, A, seems like a nice guy. That's a plus. B, you see him in post-game interviews. He's very well spoken. He seems like he really cares about what the locker room is. He seems to really like all the guys that are around. I mean, I get it that they're not winning, but it's like you don't want to let the best free agent signing in team history just walk right out the door. You want to try and get him here for at least another couple of years. Like, would you be willing to overpay him
You have to.
on
Like
on
you
like a
literally
3 year
you
deal?
you
Would you give him a
have
three by
to.
6.5?
You
I was gonna
literally
say
have to. And I still
my,
don't think he would do it.
my
Yeah.
counterpoint now is
Yeah.
we debatably overpaid for him going into this. We paid him 5 million. He's having an amazing year. How much are we gonna have to pay him now? Like 7 million, 8 million?
It's Jeff
Like
Skinner all over
I
again.
think I think you would
yeah,
have to go like a 3 by 7 to get him to stay here at this
Sure.
point. You know, like
Sure. Short term.
maybe he probably does. You know, he's gonna cool off a little bit, so maybe you temper the flares just a tad. But yeah, man, like now he's gonna be on everybody's trade boards heading into the trade deadline
Yeah.
and
But
like top 10.
you gotta, hey, if you want him to stay around, you gotta prove it to this organization. You gotta prove that this organization wants a proven winner. They're gonna have to prove to him that this organization is gonna be set up to win. And considering the shit show that Terry Pagula runs around this place, I'm sure Jason Zucker's a smart enough man to realize that is it gonna change? Probably not. So you want to make your bag and just, hang out here for a few years and maybe we figure it out. Get on the roller coaster. I don't know.
you watch what you're saying about my Terry Pagula.
Shut up, Jerry.
The only scenario that I could see Zucker staying is if like teams just are like, hey, like you're 32, we're not going to play you on our first line. We're not going to give you the payday that maybe you're seeking. And Buffalo's offer is still there, whatever it is. You know, they might not even entertain a raise. They might just say like, hey, we can give you the same contract again. You know, because who knows what they're thinking here. But like, you don't have the luxury of going after many guys like Zucker and it ending up working out well because you've done some Zucker contracts even in the past few seasons. I mean, even like Eric Johnson was supposed to be like a Zucker type thing, and like that fell apart. And the Taylor Hall thing was basically Zucker all over again, and that fell apart. So to have somebody who's been around the block, played for so many teams at this point in his career, played for winning teams, and if he were to stay here, like it would be something. It would be like a building block that, like, hey, you can come here and do well as a vet. It's just I don't know. I don't have faith that they're going to get it done. I don't have faith that Zucker is going to look around at this absolute mess, this travesty that he walked into, where I don't know, half the core might be gone. The head coach, even if he stays, is going to be a lame duck, and it's just the burden of a going to be soon to be 14-year playoff drought. I just like if I was Jason Zucker, I'd like, or if I was his agent, I would be like, you don't want to stay. Like this worked out perfectly for you. You got your payday here. You thrived, upped your value for 2025 free agency. Go sign with a contender, even if it's only for like 2.5 million.
The Sabres have a knack for either having guys on their roster who have career years and have no extension in place, are on the downslope of their career and they fall off, or they're not in their prime yet and they haven't broken out yet. Either way, none of them never work out. And then they go somewhere else, and what do you know?
You think about like all the guys with contract years, not just Jason Zucker. You think like Jack Quinn, JJ Paterka, even Devin Levi.
Mm,
You'd think that, being in a contract year, you get a little bit more juice out of them. And it's not going well. And that
nope.
I think that's like one of the most worrying parts about where they're at. It's that like even JJ Paterka, who, was dynamite last season, started this season on fire again. has been lumped. I think you can lump him into that group with Quinn and Cousins and even Owen. Like Owen Power is one of the Sabres' worst players in goals above replacement, and that was like his thing the last 2 years. That he was always at the top, even if the point totals were huge, and even if the expected numbers weren't out of this world. His goals above his GAR was better than the majority of the roster, and even that's down. And that's like the really worrying part of where this coaching staff is at. All your young guys have regressed, every single one. The only guys having a bounce back or return to form, or even just having a good season, it's Tage Thompson's been better than last year. Dahlin's still doing his thing. Obviously, Jason Zucker has come in and been amazing. Like maybe you can throw Alex Tuck in that group.
Benson
Uh,
and Byram, I would say.
yeah, Byram and Benson and Byram. But like Benson, I feel like is just like he's a cheat code. Like he can play anywhere, any style. Um,
Connor Clifton having a better year.
And Jonah does not say anything. He does not want to admit that.
His eyes rolled right away.
I mean, he was better than last season. You could say that.
all of your important young pieces have taken steps back. And I did not want to legitimately cast Lindy as the coach that's like bad to young players because that's a reputation he has. And I don't even think that's the case because, he has a lot of trust in Zach Benson and Yuri Kulik. I don't think it's that. Like, I don't think he hates young players. He just, for whatever reason, whatever he's doing with the roster, it's not working for their most important guys. As much as I love Yuri Kulik and Zach Benson, uh, right now, Cousins, Power, Paterka, Quinn, like those were supposed to be part of your core, and they're all sort of on a downward swing, which is
Yeah.
just it's bad, man. Like that's not a good, as much as this season could go, if this season went south because of the goaltending or maybe, bad defense, whatever. Like you can't have all of those guys at once
hmm
regressing.
Yeah. Rumor has it some of them might get shipped out to the West Coast, perhaps. But yeah, it's not really the culture you want to build with a young team that's consistently regressing game in, game out, and it seems like over a 3-year sample size, it's just been a complete downward trajectory. And it sucks to watch. It really does. After going through the entire Eichel core and all those guys and that not working out, you really thought, hey, what are the odds they get it wrong twice? Well, it's starting to look more and more like they may have signed some of the wrong guys to contracts.
Yeah, it's crazy how wrong I was. Like everybody was on the Paterka extension train, and that's proven to be a blessing in disguise that they haven't done that. But me, like I was through and through. Like get the Quinn extension done. Just do it. His
No.
value will never be lower.
Well,
It got
no,
lower.
it got lower.
It got lower. It's
Bro's
just
going to be making league min next year.
yeah. Yeah, like I'll raise my hand. Dead wrong about that. It's good that they didn't do that. At the same time, like just so many guys that it should not have gone this wrong for, and yet here we are.
Imagine they sign them all in the offseason and they get to the cap. They're like, no, 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 that's not what we meant. That's not what we meant. We don't want to be at the cap this way.